So I start a lot of my videos with me in a nice driveway or workshop or garage, working on my car. This one's gonna be a little different. Somebody got stranded, so in keeping my sorry, there's probably those booger there. In keeping my family fleet up, I had a bit of an issue. My daughter's driving a Subaru that I have, and the Subaru broke down going from her college to home for winter break. So what I had to do, apparently lose all my keys, I had to have her pull it over and do a little diagnostics over the phone. Her car was the car was difficult to steer for her, and she noticed that the lights were dimming. I'm like, okay. She's got this little those little adapters, cigarette lighter adapters, or AC adapters, because we don't use cigarette lighters in cars anymore. She had one that had that actually showed the voltage. I said, what's the voltage on it? She said it's at 10. I said, okay, you're not charging, so no power steering, not charging. I'm thinking serpentine belt, right? So I told her, what's the voltage look like? I said, at first she said she thought it was power steering fluid. I said, well, I don't know, what does the fluid levels look like? Fluid levels you can't actually get to in that car without taking an air duct out of the way. So I had her start driving it home, or start driving it further down to try to get off an exit, and she was able to get it to Mirabito, which is one of the gas stations up here in the Northeast, and she got it pulled into a spot. I took a look at it. It was late at night. Wicked cold outside. I've got a head cold on top of it. I still have it now. And take a look under the hood. Sure enough, the serpentine belt's shredded. Stopped on the way up and picked up a new one to try to see if I could repair it. I put the new serpentine belt in after some cursing and cussing and frozen fingertips, and problem was the tensioner pulley was all out of whack. So since the tensioner pulley's all out of whack, guess what? It was chewing up serpentine belts. So serpentine? I don't know, serpentine belts. So sorry if I got a lot of boogers in this one that don't mean to be gross. Again, make sure I have the radio so I don't get a YouTube copyright strike. So I had to drive up with the trailer. People here were really nice to let me leave it in the parking lot a couple days, and a guy came up, just hooked up on it now. The car was like just barely drivable. I got it just up and on before it conked out. Seems like it might have a little bit more juice in it, so I'm gonna try to get home and see what it looks like as far as juice getting it off the trailer, because it's snowy out here, snowy at home, and I don't feel like backing a trailer into my driveway. It's gonna be dark by the time I get home. Oh, I gotta clean my windshield. And I don't feel like backing a car into the driveway, or backing the trailer into the driveway with it being snowy and slushy out. So, all right, I'm gonna go trailer in the snow and sleet and slush for 150 miles and see what happens. Wish me luck. Next time you see this video will be probably a day or two later when I'm taking everything apart. Not much for stations up where I am, but there's WKGB Rock and Roll, where I guess they listen to you when you're listening. So I don't know. I don't know if this is the government tracking me more or not. So. All right, I'm off. All right, so it's a couple days later. That was a really fun drive. White knuckle driving, both on the way to go get the vehicle and on the way to come back. Just to show you what I saw when I was looking at everything, I don't know if you could really see it. The serpentine belt was shredded up, the one that was in there. You could see the tensioner is like cocked off to the side. The problem was that that tensioner was basically shredding the belt, and the tensioner itself is like locked in place. Idler pulley is pretty darn stiff too. So my next sorry about the traffic there. So the next step I need to take is I need to actually take the idler pulley out and the tensioner assembly out. I'm going to just replace the whole thing. So this is a 2001, so it's 2001, so it's a 24-year-old car. So, you know, time, you know, and mileage, and it's 100 and some odd thousand miles, they wear on you, and those bearings, I'm sure, are shot. I just wanted to see what the pulleys look like over here. You could see little shreds of belt that were left over. It's actually kind of neat. And the AC pump looks like it's running pretty true, and if the crankshaft's a problem, I think we'd know about it. This alternator, I am 100% sure has been changed at least once. It will most likely need to be changed again. Not now though, because it's actually, ooh, it's a little noisy. You know what, I might change that out eventually, or sooner rather than later. That's an easy change out too. Everything's right in the front, everything's right up top, which is nice. I'm gonna take this hose off, kind of push it off the side. There was a plastic cover that was over this. I think it was 8 mils for it. There was a air duct that came over here and just covered everything. 2 bolts for that. Those were smaller. I don't have them in my pocket. Real basic, real simple. Take this out. Take the idler pulley off. Wow, yeah, that thing is rough too. Take the tensioner assembly out, and I got a Gates unit for both, and I'll just swap them out. I'll come back to you when I have that out. It's 2 bolts. I'll have that. I'll show you how bad that looks, and we'll check to see how bad that the bearing in that is. Okay, so here's the old idler out. Here's what the new one looks like. Not that much of a difference between the two, but if we take a look at the tensioner, I actually, oh, that was the last piece of the bearing that was in there. I actually took the tensioner pulley off, and everything inside was ripped apart. You could actually see a piece of, I don't know what the heck this is. I don't think that's a thrust washer or anything. Could be just, I think that's the end of the bearing that was in there. That was the bearing seal. I mean, look at how, that's terrible. Look at that. You can see the gouges inside. Well, hopefully you can see them. And the race is still in there for the ball bearings, but wow, just shot. So, take the new one, drop it immediately and break it. Now, I take the new one, make sure everything lines up. It does look, proportionally, it looks really identical. You see, I think that's the end of the spring where it catches to actually clock that back and forth. I'm going to put this back in. It sits down right down in there. What is this? Oh, wow. You see this nut? That's an interesting find. This nut actually sits on the back of this. Let's see if that came out on the... Yep, came out on this one. So this nut sat on the back of that. That was what the bolt went through. There's the bolt. There's the nut. This probably loosened up. Oh, when I was trying to, what I did was I took the, like I said, I took that off so I can make sure I can get to everything. Just because I didn't know what I was looking at, totally. But this is junk. Little ball bearings all over the ground down there. Now I got to get this back in, and then I got to look for my belt diagram. Usually if you have a car that's got a belt on it, you want to take a picture before you swap it. Problem was the belt, as it came off of this, let's see if it's still in the car. I put it in the trunk. Alright. Well, it looked terrible. I'll show you when I change the belt out how bad the old one looked. So let me get that those two pulleys on, and then we can start fiddling with the belt next. Okay, so I got those in. I've seen other YouTubers talk about this before. They say at least start the lower bolt. Just kind of like lower a little bit more passenger side bolt first, which I did. And then I did the upper bolt, got them threaded in, and just kind of worked them back and forth, one then the other, to make sure I had it well and seated in. Tightened them down. Did the same thing for the idler. Found some more parts, just so I could show you. So that's, I think you can see that in there. Here. So all the little ball bearings popped out. Here's the inner race for the ball bearings, and basically that all just came off right in my hands. So yeah, that's total junk. And this one you can't even turn it. I mean, it had to be, I don't know if these might have been replaced at some point, because I mean, looking at the bolts that are on there, the bolts are they're anodized. I think it's anodized, right? They look like grade 8. They got the gold coloring on them. This was the belt, so it had some of the ribs left. If there wasn't a problem with the tensioner, I actually could have probably gotten this back on. But the tensioner, where it was literally like that. So it was going wobble, 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 just wobbling like crazy. So I have a nice new belt here, and I'm going to put that on. Basically, it's the ribbed side goes against the ribbed pulleys, and the non-ribbed side goes against the non-ribbed pulleys. So you're going to be looping around these somehow, where this one will actually have a ribbed side against it. This is your power steering pump. A bit of a leak out of the top, not too bad. The alternator will have a ribbed side against it as well. The tensioner, the idler, will have the smooth side. The AC pump will have the rib side, and of course the crank will have the rib side. Unless it's a V-belt, the crank will almost always have the rib side. Unless someone knows something different, which there might be something else out there, I'm not sure. If you know something different, let me know. I'd like to learn about it. I'm going to go look up the belt diagram online real quick, and then I'm going to put it all back together. That was a lot easier than I thought it would be, and honestly, when things go that smoothly, I question whether or not I'm doing them right. But if you take a look, it comes up, it goes around the crank pulley, comes around that tensioner, 14 millimeter to actually loosen the tension. And the way you loosen the tension on this is, smartly enough, you tighten this, you want to turn this clockwise, because you never really want to loosen that bolt, because then you're going to loosen it, and then this tensioner is just going to pop off. It goes around that tensioner, goes up and around the power steering pump, comes around the idler pulley, goes around the alternator, comes around the AC, and then from the AC goes back down and around back to the crankshaft. Man, looking down in there, I don't know if you could see that, but the clearance down there, see, the clearance of the block is really tight. But that looks right. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to just take the key, hope that there's enough juice left in the battery, and bump the key a couple times. And I'll be honest with you, I was amazed at how well this car kept juice in that battery. That's how well it kept it. And I mean, it was driving way low. Let's see if that looks like it skipped or anything. Ideally, I'd prefer to have someone else out here looking with me. That actually looks really good. All right. So I'm looking to make sure that it's centered on the pulleys. Now, there are no lips on the idler and tensioner pulley, so the grooved side is really going to hold, the grooved belt's going to hold itself in place across the grooved pulleys. I think I am safe to start it up, and I will show you before I start it up. So this is one of the ways that I was troubleshooting. The battery is at 10.7, and I had my daughter run it. Boom, we're at 14.4, which means we are charging. All right. The car was running. Oh, you know it'd be a good idea? I probably want to reconnect that, I don't want to reconnect that hose before it kicks on and starts dumping out everywhere. Car was being driven without power steering for a while there. Wow, did I get lucky with this one? Car was driving without power steering for a while. So there's probably bubbles, and I saw bubbles in the little tank there. There's probably bubbles in the system that are going to need to be bled out. I'm going to look up pricing. I might change out, you know, while I have this car down here and I'm working on it, I might change out the alternator and the power steering pump. Just because, yeah, kind of like a just because, to be honest with you. I don't want my daughter driving this car back up and having the alternator pop out and crap on her, out on her. And it does look a little bit older. Not terrible. I hate these things. These clips around. Plastic. But I guess the metal ones are thin too, and they tend to deform. Wow, yeah, look at the bubbles in there. So we start it up, turn the wheel some, see if it stops making noise. I think we can call this fix done. Oh, that is an unhappy power steering pump. Power steering's getting better though, which is nice. Smells something. It smells a little bit like burning. I might have dumped a little bit of something on there, but let's see. Whew. Oh no, it smells like it's running a little bit rich, which is not surprising because it sat for a little while. Try to get it to idle down. Almost there. Thinking about it. All right. Well, I think that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something. I hope you didn't see too many boogers at the beginning of it. I hope that shot wasn't totally up my nose, which it probably was. But this is it. This is fixed. I'm going to look at changing out that alternator and power steering pump in the future. So watch for future videos. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the people that have subscribed and liked my videos. I hope that these help you. Hopefully you take a look at some of my failures too, so you can not make the same mistakes. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great day, and I hope you all can feel confident. If I can fix it, I'm pretty sure all of you out there can too. Okay, thanks for watching.